You're live.
Leah literally just sprung this on me.
Not really. I told you earlier and it didn't work out, so now you're back again.
No.
So I sprung it on you.
Okay, so hang on. Let me do this before because I've got one here. I wanted to make sure that my bees were totally spoiled and taken care of to the best of my ability this year. So that's not gonna work. So what I'm doing is this that I'm making right here is gonna be a candy board. Let me see. Not know this. Anyway, so I found out online that I'm just doing this so that I can get my clamp up in the air. That really helps with moisture when I'm going to glue this other one up. When you have a medium, that's what they call it, in the hive that allows you to collect the moisture. So there's wood shavings that you can use and what's called a sugar brick. Now, I have never done either of these. I have always just ventilated my hives with a standard vent at the top, and it's worked out really well. But this year, I really wanted to make sure that I was doing it properly. So what I'm making right now is going to be a candy board, and I'm really just mocking this together kind of quickly. This is not the proper way to do anything like this, but it's what I'm doing. So
Well, you made a board. You made a box over there.
I made 3 boxes today.
And these are pieces that Matt had already cut.
Yeah.
For hive boxes, and you repurposed them.
Right. They're going to be.
What's the difference between these boxes and what you normally would use for your frames?
So they're the exact same box, except for what I'm going to do to them, and that's I'm going to put a divider in the middle, and what it's going to do is it's going to double as a feeder in the summer and insulation in the winter. And I'll show you. Sorry, I want to get this done before the glue sets, so my mind's not exactly on.
I sprung this on it.
She totally sprung this on me. I had totally prepared what I was going to say when she came in earlier, but this is a different thing altogether, these that I'm doing right here. And this isn't proper because I really didn't feel like doing them properly.
Well, the title of the video is how to make a bee brick box.
Okay, no. That you're going to have to change the title to Michelle is just kind of winging it. Because that's, Joel Salatin says, good is good enough. Good enough is great. And so that's kind of the theory that we're going with this. So anyway, once I get this done, I'll give it a real explanation here. It's just because I have this glue setting and I want to make sure that it's done. Good. All right, so now that that's there, what's going to happen with this candy board is I'm going to put...
is that the same thing as a bee brick?
So yeah, this is the actual board that the candy will rest in. So underneath
So what is candy, bee candy?
It's kind of like a sugar cube, really. You know what sugar cubes look like when you put them in like coffee or tea or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's the texture that you're going to get. It's going to be one big giant sugar cube. And I'm going to put some essential oils in here and possibly a protein supplement, which is just soy powder. It's the best. You know, we talk about soy not being great. It literally is the best protein supplement for bees. So the sugar is their carbohydrates, and then when they gather pollen, that is their protein. So the soy would be the protein equivalent. So anyway, what happens in the winter, at the end of winter, bees can run out of food. And so this offers them an emergency supplement if they need it. And so underneath of this particular, here, let me use this as an example. This is one of my spacers that I'm literally just basing this off of. What are you doing? Oh, okay. So underneath of this is going to be 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch mesh. Okay, so at the bottom of this. And then I'll line it with tissue paper, and then I'll put my bee candy in there, which is, it's actually not bee candy, it's a brick. You take like 4 pounds of sugar and a cup of water or whatever. Look up recipes before you quote me on that. It's very, very, it's just lightly damp sugar with some vinegar, and that helps with mold. And you'll tamp it down. And this will be what's called the sugar brick box or whatever. And then let's pretend that this is my hive body, and I've got all my frames of bees in here. This is going to go directly on here. So you've got the wire mesh, you've got the tissue, you've got the candy, and then there will be a hole drilled in here for ventilation, and a little kind of, when you put your candy in here, you put a 2x4 in here to keep that space open. So what happens, why is this important? Because in the winter, the bees keep the hive at the same exact temperature, winter and summer. That's a really big deal. So if it gets too hot, they cool it down. If it gets too cold, they warm it up. I think it's like 90 something degrees. I don't remember the exact temperature. I should know that, but I don't. Somebody in the chat can fix me on that. But so they have to keep it warm. Well, you know what happens to a glass when the temperature difference is different, mm-hmm. You get condensation. Mm-hmm. So what they say, wet bees are dead bees. So if your hive has too much condensation, the heat rises, it hits the top of the hive, it's super cold, condensation, and then the water falls, they can't stay, warm, mold develops, you open up your hive in late winter, early spring, and you've lost your entire hive. So you do not want your bees to be wet at all. So doing things for moisture is part of winter prep. So what I'm going to have is I'm going to have this candy board.
Maia says 95 degrees.
Thank you. I'm going to have this candy board right on top of my hives. And then the reason why I put together these boxes, which like I said, will double as feeders in the summer, spring, summer, and fall. But in the winter, what's going to happen is I'm going to put a divider in here, like the same thickness here, like 1 inch board on either side, with enough bee space for the bees to crawl up. So if it was a feeder, I would literally take, let me get a little example here. If it was a feeder, I could use a bottle feeder, this is just honey, and set it upside down in here and use this as a feeder. Or for what I'm doing right now, for all intents and purposes, I'm trying to get a good example. Here we go. This will work. I'm going to take something like this. It'll be a divider in like this, and there will be one next to it. And then I'm going to take cedar chips and put it on either side. And that's going to act as an insulator. And that is going to rest actually on top of the candy board. And so then any moisture that comes up to the candy board that the sugar itself doesn't absorb and it doesn't go out the hole is going to come up through this little bay here, and either the cedar chips as a medium are going to collect, or I'm going to have tiny, tiny little shims at the top where my outer cover will rest on, and it can go out that way. Now and the other benefit of having this as an insulation at the top is it actually reduces the chance of moisture even developing, because the temperature difference won't be so stark. So they say that if you can reduce the top of your hive temperature even by a few degrees, you can cut down on that moisture dramatically. So
somebody says, could you just set a hummingbird feeder in there and refill it every now and then?
For sure. That's the exact same theory. The hummingbird feeder is the same feeding theory as the way that we feed bees. We try to,
but in winter it's different.
But in the winter it is totally different, because you can't have all that moisture in the hive, even with the bottles. Like, you can't have them in there. So the bees will actually need to have some moisture to reconstitute the granulated sugar bricks that are in there in order to consume it. They can't just like lick it. They do actually, but they have to have moisture. They have to have moisture within themselves to kind of get that and take it down. Now it's really just in case of an emergency kind of feeding. And what I like about it is that it makes the bees, I think it makes them feel safe. It makes me feel safe that they have enough food just in case. They should have enough from gathering in the fall because I didn't take any honey. But I have a couple that I feel are kind of light, and that's why I'm doing this. And also just kind of as an experiment to see how well it works in comparison to what I've done, which isn't much, which is literally just vent my outer cover. So I've got my inner cover, which has a little hole about that big. So the moisture comes up the inner cover and then out the outer cover that I have ventilated. That's worked for me every year, but that doesn't, it all got started because I wanted to have the candy boards in there. And so when I watched this other video of the guy that had done the insulating boxes, and I just thought, oh my gosh, that's the greatest thing ever. And Kansas just so happened to have spoiled me with all of these parts so that I can just, I'm having to make the candy boards myself, and I'm going to have to put these dividers in myself and cut them to size. But literally all these dados and all that he did, it's literally like just being given a kit that you can put together. So I'm actually really excited about this. So it should, I see literally nothing but good that can come out of this. I don't foresee anything bad happening as a result of this. So I'm super stoked. And as soon as I get these candy boards together, maybe I will do a video of actually making the candy and putting it on there. I think that would be a good idea.
Okay, I'm going to get my basket.
Okay, Leah's going to go get her basket. Did you tell them? You didn't tell them. She had wanted to do a video, and then it got really dark. You're going to go get the basket?
I brought it down.
What do you mean you brought it down?
I brought it down.
Well, it's got to be by the stairs.
I got it. I'm coming. Let's go in there because it's kind of...
Okay, it's dark and... All right.
Yeah, so guys, I was going to take you on a little tiny sunset garden tour because I went out to the garden and I still have some stuff. It's November.
Yeah.
Right? No, it's October, but it's going to be November. It's the end of October, and I
That
still
looks really
have
nice.
still have some tomatoes that I picked. I got a boatload of lettuce, so we're gonna have a salad.
Look
And
at those
I have so much
radishes.
of this bok choy out there. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. Like, you want me to send you some? Because like I have way too much. I got like a whole garden worth of bok choy. And then I got these daikon radishes. I love these because they are like sweeter than and not quite as hot as the red radishes. And then you plant one seed and you get this giant
that's
radish.
nice.
Whereas if
Way
you
better
plant
than the
one
little red
seed,
ones.
You get these little red ones. And I don't even like those little red ones. For some reason I do like the white ones, but I don't like the red ones. So this is our little salad. Fall harvesting still going on here at God's Little Acre. We might be getting our big thing of pumpkins hopefully after Halloween, and then I don't know what I'm going to do with my fall garden because that's where we normally put the pumpkins.
The pumpkins from the pumpkin patch farm.
Yeah, and I made up some pig feed. I wanted to show you guys how I do that, so I'm going to try to do a video sometime of how I mix up non-GMO or mostly non-GMO pig feed really inexpensively. And we still got stuff coming in from the farmer's market that they give us for our pigs, and I wanted to show you guys that. But in lieu of all of that wonderfulness, my little Starburst tomato, I have a little couple cracks in it, but still good. So we're still living at large here at God's Little Acre on, I have some butternut squash growing out there still. And
we still haven't put together Dale's hydroponics. Maybe that'll be a winter project. That would be fun.
Yeah. So guys, I just wanted to kind of get you excited about more homesteading things because we talk a lot about politics, but this is life, real life. I want you to start living real life is when you touch things.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
And smell the radishes and live life and love God and love Jesus and all that good stuff. So have a good night, guys. We'll see you later on this week sometime.
All right, God bless.
Little Acre and Isaiah 58 Ministries and Resistance Chicks to your home. Plant a seed.
That's good.
Watch it grow. See you later.